Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts. This is Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, November 27th, 2018. I hope everyone had a great week last week. For our U.S. friends, it was Thanksgiving. We went over to the kids' house, like I said, and everything went really well. The kids have been slowly taking over, well, they've been kind of being forced upon them. I've been gently letting them take over more and more of the preparations. My son Justin, he's the oldest, he went and made the turkey. And between him and my daughter, we made like the sweet potatoes, and they made butternut squash and gravy and all that. My chores this year was the turnips, the rutabagas. Here locally, you can only find them at the Publix grocery store. For some reason, none of the other stores carry the turnips. It's really weird. But my daughter has to have turnips or it's just not Thanksgiving. She saw that they'd gotten crossed off the main list at her house, and she was kind of a little bit nervous, and she was freaking out a little bit whether or not we were going to have turnips for Thanksgiving. It was funny. She's 27 and she was really worried about her rutabagas. So I did that. I did the hors d'oeuvre tray, the snacks with pepperoni, cheese, and olives, pickles, and all that stuff. So it was really good. We had a good time. We sat around and chatted a bunch while we were doing the stuff. Of course, good mama, I cleaned their kitchen again afterwards, because you can't go to someone's house and eat a big meal and then just say, see ya, bye, and leave them with a mess. I also decorated their Christmas tree. It was my old 7.5 foot pre-lit. It's a Martha Stewart tree I bought several years ago. We just don't need it in this house. All the kids are gone. It's just hubby and I. I have my tree. I have a tree in a box. This is my 4-foot tree that I put up last year. It's just the perfect size. It's 4 foot including the stand and the trunk and everything, so it's just about 3.5 feet tall. It's just perfect for decorating. We don't really need a lot. But they had that tree up. I put it up for them last year, and I told them you just got to juice the branches, and I was going to bring over ornaments, but my daughter's like, no, 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 I want to have color schemes and get my own. That tree has sat up for an entire year, 365 days, with not one ornament on it. So I grabbed the ornaments from here. I've had a lot of those plastic balls and stuff because the cats and the dogs and the little kids, so when they bat them around, it's not going to break. So I brought them over all those ornaments. They're not quite yet responsible to have the good ornaments, the family heirlooms that we've been collecting over the years for them. Whitman Samplers used to have these little plastic boxes with a tree on it, and you got a little plastic Snoopy ornament. Charlie Brown, Lucy, Woodstock, all those. I've been collecting those over the years. They had them probably about 10 or 12 years, so each child has their own set of ornaments, so I've been holding on to them. I'm a little concerned that if I give them to them now, they're going to get lost in a move. So it's better just let them sit in my closet, and they can have them when they're all grown up and have their own real place with a family and they're on their own. Because right now, they left a tree up with no ornaments on it for 365 days. They don't get anything but the plastic ornaments. So their tree's all decorated. It already has lights on it, and now it's got all different colored balls on it, so they're good to go. Now, most of last week was spent in preparations of we still, even though we went over to their house, hubby and I still had our own Thanksgiving food here. So, in a sense, I've probably made about 1.5 Thanksgivings. I've cooked 2 turkeys. One that we had, since they're only we got little 10, 11 pound turkeys, we didn't get as much meat on them as I expected. So to have enough of white meat, breast meat for sandwiches and food and stuff like that, I went ahead and just cooked the 2 turkeys. I put the dark meat went into the freezer, and some of the white meat, and whatever's left over, we'll just eat it over the next month or so. So that'll be fine. We like turkey, so it's okay. I didn't do much in the sewing room at all. So in order to have something to show off today and not just babbling on about food, I decided to pull out the quilt that I'm putting on my bed this year. Normally I have a Halloween quilt on my bed because I really like it. So I decided to have this one on. This is a Christmas one. Give you a little bit of an idea. What this is a bunch of us bloggers got together probably about 8 to 10 years ago. And we made these different themed applique blocks. And we were in groups of 12. So there was, in your group of 12, there was only one person that made Christmas trees and one person that made snowmen, etc., etc. There's my melted snowman from Florida. So what you do is you would make your 12 applique blocks, one for you and one for your 11 people you're swapping with. And then you would also make 12 9 patches. And the 9 patches, they said to try to use fabrics that you would think other people might not have. Mine is right here. It's red and green. It's a red background with white polka dots, and the green has snowman all over it. And as I said, I had the melted snowman from Florida. So I just kind of thought that was fun. He's appliqued down and everything, and then we put our name on it. I don't see that this one has a year anywhere. We just put our name and what state we're from. Oh, here it is, 2010. So this one's from 2010 is when we did the actual swap. I think I put this one together last year or earlier this year during when I was doing the year of whips, because I did it for last year and half of this year. So I think I might have put this one together last year. But it was really fun. I did 2 Christmas versions. I did the Halloween version. I did an owl. And I also did the months of the year. Like you picked a month, and let's say you were doing February. So then you would do something Valentine's theme. And if you had September, maybe you did something for school or for the fall. So we were all doing those, and we had a lot of fun doing these swaps. I really enjoyed them. And the back just has, it's a bunch of green squares with gold and stuff highlighting it, and all these little red circles are ornaments. And I really wasn't too sure about how I liked the back. The more I've been using it, the more I enjoy it. Now it has some other squares here that I'm not a big fan of. And it has Hark the Herald Angels Sing like down here, just to make it so that there was enough fabric to cover the entire back. Just, you know, you have to piece it, you have to piece it. We stopped doing it probably after a couple years. I think maybe we did it from 2008 to 2010 or 11. This swap, I know this swap had a lot of problems with it. There was a lot of people that joined up, and we were given plenty of time. You were warned ahead of time so you could start making your 9 patches, and then you had to wait to make sure you had to get, not permission, but to make sure if you were making a gingerbread man that no one else was making it. So they had to be divided up that way. Each person had to be divided into groups, but you could make all your 9 patches ahead of time. So that was never a problem. So we always had plenty of time. But you know how it is, some people just run out of time or change their mind, and then they flake out, and the groups had to get rearranged. We went from like having 8 or 10 groups down to 4 or 5 so that everyone had 12 blocks of each to do. But I don't know, it was really, really fun, and I kind of missed doing it. If my group would start this back up again, I would 100% join in and do more block swaps like this. Oh, I've got a seam that popped. I'm going to have to fix that. That's 100% my fault from the way I stitched it together. When I was making these, I was still at the beginning stage of my quilting. I hadn't been doing it for very long. So it was really great to practice. Practice your 9 patches, practice your applique. I decided to just do this one with no sashing like I did with the Halloween one. Because when I stitched this top together, I probably did the top itself probably around 2010 when I actually got these blocks. And at that point, I really wasn't good at matching the sashing up. So a lot of my sashing, you'd have the one here and the next one would be off a little and the next one, they would never line up. That's how my Halloween quilt is, but I love it. It's got the cotton batting in it. I just did free motion quilting all over it, and I love it. It's just the right amount of warm right now. We still have our air running, so it's not cold yet. We have a cold front coming soon, so I'm sure the weather will be changing. Nobody wants to hear about my good weather when you guys are getting snow everywhere. This guy's one of my favorites. I'm not sure if I can find the applique pattern anymore for this to remake it. I'm going to do a little bit of a search, but if not, I'm going to just go ahead and trace off of this design so I can remake this. I would love to have this like a whole quilt or maybe a 4-patch wall hanging. And my other favorite is this sled. Now, I looked online. I have to check the coloring books to see if they have a sled design anywhere, but I could not find any actual applique patterns for the sled. I have a feeling that this is a coloring book page, but once again, I'm just going to lay some fabric down on top of it, or some paper on top of it, and I'm going to trace out the pieces. So I think this would also be fun to have either in addition to other blocks or just a table runner with a whole bunch of sleds on it. Snowmen are my favorite, so I'm still actually friends with the lady. This is from Barb from Bejeweled Quilts. We talk on Facebook. I follow her blog, and we chat on a regular basis. So it's really nice to have things on here. Now, I do not have one from the lady that's actually did the swap. It was her baby that took care of these. But I still chat with her online all the time, too. Several of the people that are part of this swap, I'm still online buddies with, so it's kind of fun that way. And so far I've been lucky. After when I make my bed in the morning, I remove this quilt so that the cats don't get to it. There's little ribbon bows on this present, so the cats would definitely want to eat that. And then the gingerbread girl, she has little button eyes and a ribbon for her hair, in her hair. And I have one cat that likes to chew buttons off of things. She's just weird. But so I have to make sure that this gets picked up every morning and put away. I make my bed, and then when I go to bed at night, I open it back up. And thankfully, they don't sit on my chest and try to eat the buttons off the lady's eye in the middle of the night. So, do you guys have a favorite quilt that you put on your bed every year, or do you rotate them out? Like I said, I keep my Halloween one on most years. I think I've had that on probably for about 3-4 years in a row now. But I switched out to this one because I wanted something different, and I like the weight. Even though they're made with the same batting, because this one doesn't have the sashing, it kind of weighs just a little bit less. So me and my happy snowman here are waving bye. We'll see you next week.